Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. DB333, and welcome back to the new campaign trail. Now, last time we were together we took a little trip to the country of Germany. Hopped in as a social democratic party and helped get a pretty historic result and get an even more historic coalition between the Greens and the left, which I wasn't planning on immediately, but we had to avoid the traffic coalition, which may or may not be doomed nowadays. I don't know, that's too contemporary for politics that I like to get into. But one thing that I clearly am okay with getting in is supporting our great president, Donald John Trump, winner of the 2008 election against John McCain, of course. This is 2012 Trump. This is an unofficial sequel to 2008 Trump, which I've played on this channel before. One of my favorite mods, personally speaking. And I think this is a pretty worthy sequel, and I want to hop in and give it some love. Just over a decade into the 21st century, America's course looks increasingly uncertain. A lack of confidence in the previous ruling coalition led to its collapse, but as the nation still faces a bevy of unsolved problems, the future of the country's politics is undetermined. President Donald Trump must prove his 2008 victory wasn't a fluke. To win re-election, he will need to find a way to win back the confidence of enough of his old, unwieldy coalition to come ahead, while avoiding scandals that would halt his already sluggish momentum. Meanwhile, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie seeks to tap into discontent over Trump's personality and record to build a new kind of conservative majority. His establishment-aligned politics are safe to most, but getting America to trust another Republican is no easy task. Make sure I pause that music. So here we are, Donald Trump, a Democrat from New Jersey. Oh no. I'm kidding. I like you, New Jersey. I don't love you, but you're okay. Many who expected the victory of Donald Trump in 2008 to radically transform American politics now find themselves surprised at how little seems to have changed. After 2 years, his policy accomplishments amount to a tepid stimulus, incrementalist healthcare reform, and a financial bailout package. It was good enough to prevent another depression, but did little else. Going into his re-election, Trump is seen as vulnerable. A lack of confidence to balance out his constant personal scandals has left broad swaths of his 2008 coalition apathetic and alienated. But the president does not lack his own advantages. Standing as the undisputed head of revitalized liberalism and commanding a deep, almost personal loyalty among his legions of supporters, victory is still achievable against a discredited opposition. Merely winning, though, will not be enough to change America. Only a truly decisive victory will allow Trump to mold the country in his image. And here's our running mate, Old Barry. While Barack Obama hasn't been the least influential VP in history, he's far closer to the title than he would like. The Illinois senator joined your ticket in 2008 for one reason and one reason only: power. With Republicans weak, but nobody else willing to take the spot, he saw opportunity. The first part of his bet paid off. You won in a landslide. He became a heartbeat away from the presidency and your natural successor. But with your presidency in a tailspin, what Obama once saw as a golden key now looks to him more and more like a sinking ship. Since the midterms, your own VP has convinced himself that the only way to save his career is to get out. The sooner the better. Even just one wrong move could lead him to quit, a blow from which many think your administration can never recover. Well, I'll have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and check out what we're looking at. So, we'll scan over in Montana to see. The main issues are globalization, voter resentment, foreign policy, religion, and immigration. Well, We'll see how well we can do in all these places. Just checking out some of the issues in everywhere. Anyhow. It is March 1st, 2011. Over the past month, the world has been riveted by massive anti-government protests across Egypt, and here's the decision to support the sitting president, Hosni Mubarak. Your sale of weapons to a security force has been widely reported on as a cause of the Tahrir Square massacre, with thousands left dead. Your own Vice President, Barack Obama, has resigned in protest. How do you respond? Oh, Jesus Christ, what did this pussy think he was getting into? That we're just gonna go around and sing songs and be friends? Sorry, Barry, that's not how it works. You know, I bet Barry's only so mad because Hosni, our friend, he's a real progressive, fighting against the machine, not like Barry. At least this is a somewhat grounded in the actual event. Some mock your description of Mubarak, but your voters take you at your word. They would believe anything. Well, there goes Obama. Obama! The resignation of your vice president, the first such since 1973, has rocked the political world. Along with the questions that have arisen about the integrity of your administration, you now have to make a choice of finding a replacement who can make it through a Senate filibuster. Who do you want to go with? Here's a curveball. How about Tammy Baldwin? She has experience. She's a great, strong progressive from the great state of Wisconsin. Probably won't get confirmed, no, but we can make it work. I think. You're right. Baldwin isn't confirmed because of her progressive beliefs. Your options are still open for next year, but this is a strong signal that you're taking more leftward direction. Best to follow through. The believers know you will. And here we are. We actually get 3 different choices. There's a good amount of choose your own adventure in this mod. I'm going with the one that's going to get me the most votes, which is going to take us down a very weird route. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Meanwhile, we're going to select Miss Tammy Baldwin, who's not VP Timber. She's a backbencher representative from a flyover state, a self-described progressive supporter of single-payer healthcare. Her nomination baffled Washington, with many assuming that she was the only one willing to accept the nomination. When put up for a vote, she did not win Senate confirmation. That was the point. By making Republicans stonewall Baldwin's confirmation, you instantly regained your reputation as a progressive champion, with room to spare. With the battle lines of a 2012 campaign now clearly that of right versus left, Republicans get what they wanted, while you have the opportunity to use your unique appeal to build on the traditional liberal coalition. There we go. So, starting off pretty, we got, but we can catch up. We'll start by sending some heading over to West Virginia. Traditional coal country. I don't know what the canon results are. If you look back in my Trump 2008 video, I think we got 429 EVs. So basically, all of these states and Montana. You can more or less recreate that, plus Arizona and Alaska, minus South Carolina and Montana. So we're going to try to do that. So, start off with West Virginia. Let's step back a bit. Your first midterm election in 2010 was, as you put it privately, a fuck-up. Slow growth, high unemployment, and the ever-present Stormygate scandal led to massive Republican gains in the South and on the coast, leaving you with a Republican majority in the House and only 53 seats in the Senate. How do you interpret these results, and how will you change your approach, if at all? Look, it was bad, okay? I get it. But there's still some things to see there. If you look at the guys who did well, Ron Wyden, Pat Leahy, Fightin' Russ Feingold, They all stood out as progressives, for the little guy fighting the system. And that's me too. That's President Trump. We'll do what they do, and we win. Well, Lee and Wyden weren't safe blue states, but you're not wrong about Feingold, or that most of the Democrats who lost their seats were connected to the establishment. Well, there we go. It's March 14th, 2011. Vice Admiral William McRaven has just informed you that the CIA has determined the location of Osama bin Laden, a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. You're present with a number of options, such as a missile strike or a targeted raid, and also briefed on the legal implications of initiating an operation within the territory of an ostensibly friendly country. This could be the defining moment of your presidency. What will you do? Holy shit. Holy shit. This is exactly what we fucking need. If I know one thing, this has got to be a show. The generals, we love the generals. They can do what they want. I'll hint at a special announcement and time it all so we get to announce it during that dumbass fake news dinner. An early raid sends helicopters into the early morning fog. They crash into each other as they circle the compound, and the wreckage kills bin Laden and everyone inside. Your approval surges as you claim the SEALs died heroically. All part of the plan. Alright, let's head over Louisiana. While your candidacy in the 2012 election was filed with the FEC the day you were inaugurated in 2009, you still have yet to officially announce your re-election campaign. Following the bin Laden operation, your advisors think now would be the perfect time to do so. As you prepare to speak to a sellout crowd in New York, what do you want the opening message of your campaign to be? There's the L word. That's right, the L word. They say you can't say it, but under my administration, we're saying it. It's liberalism. We're going to do healthcare. We're going to do the economy. We're going to help out our blacks, our gays, just like FDR, just like JFK. You've embodied the liberal label since 2007, at least on the campaign trail. These points aren't new for you, but the positive, forward-looking rhetoric is. People seem to appreciate it. Back in Washington, your administration has been locked in a standoff with a new Republican majority in the House over government funding. An increase in the debt ceiling, which has always been approved by Congress without debate, is being leveraged by the GOP to demand spending cuts. You've ignored them so far, but the deadline August 2nd keeps getting closer with no agreement in sight. Spooking markets, what will you say to Republicans? Sorry, but not sorry. The Bush tax cuts are not coming back. I won the election in the biggest landslide ever. Bush lost. He left office with the approval ratings of an STD. We're not going back to Bushism. Tell the staff to search around for something so I can end this myself. Brad DeLong, an official at Treasury, finds a novel solution. $1 trillion platinum coins. The order to be done right away. Republicans are shocked and, in a panic, agree to a clean increase. Not bad. It's all coming together, folks. What can I say? We're going to visit the great state of Georgia. They love me in Georgia. One issue that has risen in salience in recent years is immigration. While the topic went largely undiscussed in the 2008 campaign, the rapid growth of Hispanic population means that many expect it to play a larger role in the upcoming elections. This could have major implications for your campaign, as your advisors expect the Hispanic vote to be crucial in your chances. How do you want to get out ahead on this issue, if at all? You gotta be tough. You gotta be smart. But at the same time, you feel for these people, I don't want to look like a pansy, but with these people, the kids, where it's not their fault, we can talk about it a little. This is the safest option. While your statements are a little awkward, even hardline right-wingers are wary of going after dreamers. Some, however, fail to appreciate your nuance. Best to ignore them. That's all right. Okay, it's October 17th, 2011. The nation's eyes are on New York, where the so-called Occupy Wall Street protests have been ongoing for a month. Lacking concrete structure, the loosely organized protesters have been focusing on their grievances regarding rising economic inequality and corporate influence in politics. With seemingly no end in sight of demonstrations, how do you plan to address them? We're not going to embrace these guys, but yeah, some of the stuff they're saying, the 99% standing up to the establishment, politicians who don't listen, it's all Trump. We don't want to be hugging and kissing them, but using some of their rhetoric couldn't hurt. I don't think. This actually isn't the worst idea. The protests are mostly forgotten about after they are dispersed in mid-November, but their combative slogans add a fresh edge to your speeches that resonate with many. There we go. We're going to Mississippi. They love me in Mississippi. We'll show them all. As the last convoy of U.S. soldiers leave Iraq, the nation reflects on your foreign policy record. You ended the Iraq War, doubled down in Afghanistan, and controversially supported U.S.-backed dictatorships during the so-called Arab Spring. Many Bush-era officials have accused you of acting weak on the war against terror. How do you respond? Look who's back. It's the neocons. I heard something very interesting about the neocons. It's that they like Trotsky. Trotsky. We don't want Trotsky. No Trotsky. No permanent revolution. We want America first. The conservatives call you insane. They relish any chance to call you out. Still, the connection is clear for those who want to see it. Many neocons were former Trotskyites. Even the nonpartisan can't dispute that. Distrust with the right-wing hawk spreads like a poison. The plan succeeds. That's what I'm talking about. Probably need to go to Louisiana next, I'm thinking. Last year it was revealed that Greece has been systematically falsifying the extent of its public debt, sparking a full-blown debt crisis with the potential to destabilize the entire Eurozone. In exchange for aid, the EU and IMF, backed by Germany, have demanded that Greece implement a series of unpopular austerity programs. As negotiations for a second bailout package continue at the G20 meeting in Cannes, how do you wish to respond to it, if at all? We will never do the austerity in America. It's sick. It's a joke. It's a stupid idea from stupid Monkey Bush. But the problem is that Greece, the Greeks, were liars, just going around and being dishonest. It's very sad what they did. A lot like Republicans, like that asshole Jim Jordan. I should call him Jimmy the Greek. He just lies and lies and lies. This is nonsense, but the Europeans see it as the U.S. backing the Germans. With Merkel now having the momentum, any future bailout package looks more likely to include more reforms and less ECB involvement. Huge. We're going to Louisiana. They love me in New Orleans. Let's look ahead to your media strategy next year. Over the course of your first term, Americans have begun spending more of their lives on the internet. Both you and your advisors agree that increased presence online could be a valuable asset to your re-election effort, but you haven't been able to decide where or what you should be posting. What direction do you wish to take? I'm a really big fan of Twitter. We'll have one account for the campaign, and it's run by them. But we'll also have a new account, @RealDonaldTrump, and I'm going to run it. People will love it. They're going to love my genius mind and the things it has to say. Unexpectedly, you gain the most attention from your personal account, which fascinates the country. Nobody expected to hear the president's thoughts on sharks and Diet Coke, but many find it oddly charming. Well, how are we doing right now? It's a narrow victory, but a victory nonetheless. Pretty narrow in Missouri, Indiana. Not doing too well in these southern states. I feel like we should have a bit better margins in Montana, but that's just me. It's just a little note to the mod makers if you're watching, which, hello if you are. I love this mod. Just one little nitpick. I want to be able to win Montana, because he could win before. It's January 25th, 2012. After a two-day meeting, Federal Reserve Chair Ben Bernanke is set to announce the Fed's long-term policy and interest rates. While most have in a continuation of historically low rates for the near future, there are some calls to the Fed to reverse course. What do you have to say in advance of Bernanke's announcement? Loser Fed, loser Ben, he's done nothing. What do we pay him for? Print more money, Ben. Print more money it does. Bernanke announces a continuation of the current low-rate policies for an additional 18 months. This will prop up the economy well past Election Day, and is only good news for you. That actually didn't seem to do... Actually, it narrowed some of these margins. Not notably, but that's alright. Back to Louisiana. It's March 2nd, 2012. Amid a large field of Republican primary candidates, Chris Christie, the first-term governor of New York, has pulled ahead after several wins in the early primaries. Super Tuesday contest only a few days away. Some see it as a chance for the governor to land a knockout blow. How will you respond, if at all? This just shows you how obsessed the radical right is with me. They can't get over how we beat them in the biggest landslide ever, so they're nominating this creep, this corrupt hack prosecutor. He's been going after me, after my family, for years. Christie obsesses over this, limiting his appeal to a religious right that's already convinced he'll lose. Losses in crucial contests drag on the primary for months, to your benefit. Uh-oh, crisis in Europe. After the announcement of a Berlin-backed bailout deal with once unimaginable austerity demands, social order in Greece has nearly collapsed. With the ECB already having ruled out aid, it's clear that a referendum on both the deal and Greece's EU membership is the only path forward. How should the U.S. response? Greeks like me, okay? Look, they love me. All of the votes, we got all of the votes in Baltimore. Detroit, it's never been done. I say to them, the Greeks, you may not like this deal, but it's important, very important that it happens. Our country, the world, needs it. The vote nearly passes. Salendo Libertatum Servo. Donald Trump, the European Union's strongest soldier. Incredible. Let's visit Mississippi. It's June 7th, 2012. You receive a concerning update from your campaign about a developing situation in Denver. 2 immigrant activists have occupied one of your campaign offices and announced that they will go on a hunger strike until you sign an executive order stopping the deportation of undocumented immigrants. How will you respond? Okay, hold on. We gotta be smart here. They say they care about all the immigrants, right? But a smart person like me knows how to read between the lines. It's really about them, you know. The young people, the sleepyheads. Keep doing what we're doing with the real illegals, but write an order saying we'll be nicer to the other types. In a week, you announced a new executive order allowing dreamers to remain in the country without fear of deportation. Republicans condemn you, and pro-immigrant groups praise you in equal measure. It's August 11th, 2012. Chris Christie, now the presumptive GOP nominee, has shocked the political world with his choice for VP, announcing today that he selected Minnesota Rep. Michelle Bachmann as his running mate, a darling of the religious right, the first woman on major ticket since Geraldine Ferraro, and possibly the most conservative member of the major ticket since Barry Goldwater. Bachmann is widely expected to shake up the race. How will you respond? Oh boy. Look, folks, we already knew the Republicans were bad dudes, but this woman, yikes, she hates the gays, she hates the environment, she even hates little kids who are being bullied. She likes the bullies, it's true. Who the hell even thinks like that? You sound insane, but reporters looking into Bachmann actually do find a history of opposition to anti-bullying legislation. Voters find it disgusting. Going back to West Virginia. They love me there. We're bringing back coal. No, we're not, because we're liberals. But we're going to say we're bringing back coal. As the DNC begins, a rampant speculation about your running mate choice has come to a head. We'll most expect you to officially pick Baldwin as your number 2 following her failed Senate nomination. A coalition of conservative and establishment-aligned Democrats have begun pushing New York Senator Hillary Clinton as an alternative. Who do you want as your running mate? Oh boy. Well, we wanted Tammy. We did, I mean. But maybe too much with the gays and everything. You have to be smart. Hillary's the way to go, I think. After a little wrangling, Clinton's officially confirmed as your running mate. The establishment breathes a sigh of relief, but progressives are let down. Hopefully you've done enough outreach to them already. And there she is. Hillary Clinton from New York. With your re-election campaign newly ascendant, quite a lot has changed. The establishment that once wrote your obituaries now working overtime to find their way back in with you, desperate to keep their intra-party opponents from feasting on the spoils of a second term by themselves. And you couldn't be happier. Their desperation means that you finally have your star. Who else but Hillary? None of those D-listers you looked over after Barack even compare to her. With her finally by your side, everything looks possible now. Trump Clinton. How could anyone not love it? It's true. Oh, this is so fucking gross. Holy shit. But this will give us a break in the South. Following Christie's nomination, Democrats from across the country have assembled at the DNC in Chicago to nominate you for re-election and firm your running mate. As you prepare to give your second acceptance speech, what main theme do you want to emphasize to voters? 4 years ago, our movement stood up for the majority, for the people who had suffered so much under disastrous administration, the people who had enough. Americans now have jobs, now have no wars, now have incredible hope, and the Republican Party wants to take that away, but we're united. We won't let them. An odd silent majority-esque spin for your acceptance speech, but with an increasingly united party after the Clinton nomination, it might have appeal. Polling gives you a healthy convention bounce in the aftermath. There we go. Arkansas we got, without even needing to really lift any fingers. We'll go to Mississippi again. Surprise switch up that despondent and thrilled all shades of Democrats, depending upon their ideological allegiance. Senator Hillary Clinton is now your running mate. Some pundits predict that her star power is just the jolt your campaign needed. How will you utilize your one-time primary opponent this fall? Just get Hillary everywhere. Charming Hillary, I call her. Even the guys that hate me love her. Have her. You know what I'm saying. This is our shot. She's a wonderful person. She's wonderful. She'll boost the whole thing. You're not wrong. Hillary dotting the television screens of America gets ahead of the inevitable refurbished Republican attacks against her, giving you a healthy convention bounce. Well, we're getting pretty close. 368 in some of these states. Almost 10 points ahead. For over a year, Jeffrey Goldberg has conducted hours of interviews with you for a lengthy piece in The Atlantic, reflecting on your foreign policy during these tumultuous years in office. Finally, he asks you directly, what is the Trump doctrine? These are very smart people, and we don't need to go to war to solve problems. I was the only candidate who said that I would talk with Iran and North Korea on day one. The others all wanted to start new wars. We can only ever do that as a last resort, okay? Only when we're really threatened. Your case for intervening when vital interests are threatened is a defense of your Afghan strategy, which has prioritized defeating al-Qaeda over counterinsurgency against the Taliban. Regardless, Goldberg reminds you that Obama was actually the first to call for talking with Iran in 2008. We don't talk about Barry. He doesn't count. We're going to Mississippi again. A small show of some left-wing dissatisfaction with your administration, the Green Party's announced the nomination of little-known activist Kent Mesplay for president. Citing Occupy Wall Street, they declare that there is growing frustration with the two major political parties among voters. How will you stem potential bleeding from your left flank? We have these great progressives running in all these Senate seats. We don't need to change a thing for these very wacky people, but we can campaign with these wonderful supporters running for these seats. People like these guys like. Alongside Russ Feingold, you rally in support of senatorial candidate Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts. Greeted by a crowd of thousands, the New York Times runs a piece speculating that you're running too far to the left. The mess play campaign is not mentioned. It's beautiful. You promised big on healthcare in 08, yet your vows of universal coverage yielded little more than underwhelming better healthcare. The underwhelming Better Health Coverage Act. This bill's prohibition of pre-existing conditions exclusions, alongside other minor overhauls, have netted little more than bitter disappointment among healthcare advocates. How will you justify your results? We're going to go get the universal. I wanted it, and we're going to have it. You have to. Well, these guys don't get about deals. It's like a step, like a staircase. You step, and the step is the first bill, and the second step, that's the universal second term. Second term, we pass the universal. Great health care for all with no payment. Congressional progressives are happy, if not confused, about this promise, but they know deep down what your advisors and VP are openly telling you is true. This effort is doomed in any realistic 112th Congress. You know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to Alaska. The most anticipated moment of the campaign is finally upon us. After much negotiation, you're set up to go head-to-head with Chris Christie of the University of Denver. The first 3 debates. As Pat Cattle walks you through prep, you'll need to decide if you want to turn up the heat on Christie or hang back and hope he'll make a fool of himself on his own. No. Who agreed to this? Was it you, Pat? I don't want to be on stage with that con man. Con man Chris the con. I won't do it. He doesn't deserve it. I'm the president. He's not. Send Hillary instead. She'll make Chris the con look like a joke. You marvel at her steely gaze, her immovable stance, the iron lady, you think to yourself. Clinton bores into that loser Christie on the intricacies of his Iran policy, before maneuvering around his ham-fisted, clumsy attacks on your tax record like an Olympic gymnast. He can't keep up. She's great, you mutter to nobody in particular. Oh, I can tell by the polling, she is great. This is huge. As the campaign continues, conservative bomb throwers like freshman Senator Ken Buck have begun to make bizarre allegations that you've paid for an abortion as a result of an affair. You try to dodge the abortion debate with a softly pro-choice stance, but these allegations have put the issue back in the limelight. Where do you stand? Look, we all have many opinions about the abortion. We all do. But there are many very religious people with strong opinions in regards to life. They think Christie has been very odd. The pro-choice, there are some conservatives with some opinions there. And we can have some people, not me, mention it. It's, high-level electoral stuff. A handful of local papers uncover some evidence of your campaign's micro-targeted abortion attacks like Christie, but they aren't funded enough to make any real splash. Your silence on the issue will anger the left, but this could break some religious support for Chris. There we go. I don't know why they don't like me in Montana. You know what? Screw Montana. There's nothing there except Ted Turner and his ox. I'm going to a place where real patriots live, Georgia. Your positions on same-sex marriage have not been marked by its consistency. While you support civil unions and sometimes played politics with the issues in the South, some pundits claim that you've embraced LGBT activists more than any Democratic nominee prior. Now, support for gay marriage has reached a watermark of 51%. Christie, meanwhile, has vetoed a same-sex marriage bill, while Republicans start to ramp up attacks on transgender rights. What's your stance? If there really is a time to do the gay marriage, It's right now. We can have a big, big announcement for it. Huge. Right in San Francisco, which is very much with the gay. These gay guys, they have tremendously large wallets. Very important. Your announcement gains extensive media attention and is widely celebrated by liberal activists. It's joined by a surge of donations to the tune of millions of dollars. Republicans continue to hold the line on civil unions. Oh, it's beautiful. Well, with the EU internal crisis and cries for humanitarian intervention in the Middle East, many critics have accused you of abandoning our NATO commitments. Sarkozy, in particular, was furious at your scuttling of an operation in Libya and has made vague comments about how our European allies need a fresh perspective in Washington. How do you feel about NATO? Who says I don't like NATO? Look, we need to stay out of these dumb wars. Iraq, huge mistake. Afghanistan, not so much. We're rebuilding that country with NATO. We were losing the war when I came into office with the mess those crazy people made. Now look at us. We're going to win. The pundit class salivated your Afghan surge and was announced in 2009, declaring your speech the day Donald Trump became president. Since then, casualties have spiked and little progress has been made. Fake news. Where did we go? I think we're okay in West Virginia. Mississippi. As we close in on November, the trade deficit with China swelling to a record $295 billion in 2011. Chris Christie pranes over your supposed weakness on China's rise and attempt to cut down your Midwest margins. He says he declared China a currency manipulator. Yet he's also said he'd use free trade agreements to stem the country's rise. How will you hit back? Christie says he'll declare China currency manipulator day one. We do it right now. Why can't we do it right now? We are strongly organizing all these tiny, tiny countries who, by the way, no one ever heard of before me. And we are standing against China. Some advisors think it's too fast, but you order the next Treasury Department report to declare China a currency manipulator anyway, leaving Christie with little else but claims of flip-flopping. Sad. He can't handle it. He can't handle us winning. Republicans have long since implied that you've had an authoritarian streak, citing your rhetoric as a key sign of American democratic backsliding. They've claimed you've hinted at a denial of the 2000 and 2004 presidential elections, and that you'll prevent a peaceful transfer of power if you lose. Will you accept this year's election results, regardless of outcome? I would like to promise and pledge to all my voters and supporters and to all the people of the United States that when the results come in on election night, I will accept, without delay or hesitation, the concession speech of Chris James Christie. Opponents call it a caveat that threatens to cast unprecedented doubt on the legitimacy of the electoral process. Your supporters say that you were obviously joking. Alright, it's getting close in Mississippi, so we'll do one more visit there. Now comes the reckoning, Mr. President, the reveal. For years, your supporters have labored in online message forums and social media networks. They have endured for you, sir. Under the banner of Our President Needs Us, they have quietly decoded secret messages in your speech. That Bush orchestrated 9/11, that Cheney killed Paul Wellstone, that Dennis Hastert is a child molester, that a pedophile cabal stole the 2000 and 2004 elections. They yearn for your acknowledgement, your approval. Send the command, sir, and they will march. Bush did 9/11. It's a fact. We can't say it out loud. We just can't. But, these people, they seem very honest, very fine people. Maybe some people online can say some things, get the message out. But don't let it get back to me. We hear you in the wires. We hear your agents in our chat rooms and message boards and in 1,000 other places. Every day, more and more people join your movement, your army. Won't be long until we bring ruin and desolation to the establishment in their ilk. It's not hard to find their names, their addresses online. How the fuck is Chris Christie ahead in Indiana? The fat fuck. I have never lost Indiana before this. This is bullshit. 10 days left to go before the election. Hurricane Sandy is smashed into the Atlantic coast. Death counts are crawling up. Tens of billions of dollars of damage has been inflicted. And worst of all, Chris Christie is getting incredible press for his response. How will he react to the situation? Fat fuck Chris Christie can go to hell. I'm going to travel across the coast, meet with people, and I know they love me because I love them. I really do. I've been talking to people, good people, and they tell me, don't wait. Release the aid, and that's what we're going to do, folks. These victims, I know they're tough. They've got that hurricane spirit. It's a nasty thing, but we're going to help you get by. Shooting the traditional format of bipartisan responses to natural disasters, you begin a tour southward, down the Atlantic coast. It's not terrible, but outside of the pictures you get of throwing towels making the rounds on the internet, Christie gets far more attention. That fat fuck. Son of a bitch. He can shove it. It's okay. We have true patriots in Vermont who understand the mission. Kentucky can go to hell. Horrible state. Tennessee is better. Kentucky's just a knockoff. Tennessee. South Carolina, not my favorite Carolina. New England, I love New England. Look at New England come in. Ohio, love Ohio. Michigan, Detroit pizza, the best. Sorry, New York. Oh, look at that. Florida, they didn't steal it. No Bushes there, they couldn't. North Carolina, my favorite Carolina. There we go. My voice is giving out. I can't do the Trump voice anymore. Got Kansas. Arizona. We got no Mississippi, but we got Louisiana. That's decent enough. The rest of these states are going to be close, I know. I haven't won Alaska before. That's why I sent a visit over to Alaska. Well, we got Alaska. Oh, look at that. Mississippi was kind of close, but we got all these other places, including Indiana, which is very close, but we got it. 417 to 121. What a comeback. Whether the losers in the Republican corporate media like it or not, President Trump is here to stay for another 4 years, this time with a bigger mandate than ever. You silence the doubters, the naysayers, even that prick Obama. Everyone who thought you couldn't pull it off, that you were dead in the water. They were wrong, and you were right. Isn't that how that always goes? He took command of the economic crisis plaguing the West and came out a winner. He spoke to millions of Americans whose voices went unheard for so long. And now you're primed to be a transformative figure in American history. Most consequential of all, Democrats have retaken the House by enough of a margin to convince the DINOs that you really are onto something. You now have the opportunity to deliver on your grand promises, and to you goes the delight of choosing how to prioritize them. And you can put your name on a beautiful healthcare bill to provide coverage to all Americans. Become the people's champion with another round of stimulus spending. Codify your foreign policy doctrine as a national norm, or lead the fight to move America forward in legalized gay marriage. After this and more, all this and more is yours, Mr. President. If you keep the faith and stay in the fight for another glorious term. If you play your cards right, perhaps we'll have a statue of you in the National Mall someday. It's beautiful. Closest states. Very close in Georgia. They couldn't steal it from us. Indiana, we got Alaska, beautiful. West Virginia. I love West Virginia. Not as much as the other Virginia, because they didn't vote. They voted for me more, but it's okay. Mississippi, so close to greatness. It's all the voter suppression there. Results. Oh yeah, we did way better than the original timeline. No green, splinter. Yeah. And if you want to read more. Oh, that's not Das Kapital. What is that? Anyway, yeah. That's going to be it for now, friends. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked, dislike, didn't leave any comments, feedback down in the comment section below. I'm going to leave before my voice gives out. Yeah, next time, we're probably going to be playing one of the mods that I said I was going to revisit, but I just haven't yet. Maybe 2016 4-way. Astro just commented in one of my videos, so I might do End of History. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But I will see you all next time. Goodbye and Godspeed. Proud, brave American patriots.